guys, so this week's video is a training video on getting your horse to jump on a lunge. If you watched last week's video, you would have seen that she struggled with a very small jump, so I thought we'd spend a bit of time working on it. And as you can see, the start didn't go great. So this way I've just put a flat pole in between the two jump wings, and I'm just asking her to trot over it. And you can see she's very wired. She doesn't really want to do what I'm asking her to do. It was quite windy that day as well, which, as I'm sure you all know, doesn't really help the situation. But I know that she's more than capable of doing this, so I ask her to go over it. You see she gets triggered there and gallops off. But it's about trying to keep it calm. So we start with what she definitely knows, and then I try to take it down a notch, give her a pat, tell her well done. She did what I asked. And then we try and do it again, but in a calmer fashion. So just take it easy. I don't have the whip this time. But again, she goes into a gallop, but it's a slightly calmer one. And again, I want to praise her for that. Say, yeah, you're going the right direction, doing what I ask. Take it easy. So one of the other things that I want to do is keep it interesting. So I don't want to keep asking her to do the same thing over and over again. So once we did the one side a couple of times, we then switch sides. And again, she's already raring to go. But she does it. She made a mistake and then she corrected herself and did it without a problem. Again, you can see I don't have the whip because I don't want to trigger her more. She already is. Give her a lot of praise, say well done, and let's do it again, but a little bit calmer. You can see she's going over it nicely. She's very wound up that day. But I just tried to make sure that I wasn't reacting to it in a way that it became a problem. Just say, okay, it's not what I'm asking. I'm going to wait for you to get over the little tantrum, and then we start again. So again, she's trying to jump it as quickly as possible. And she did it. But I decided that day that it was best not to actually put a jump up. So what I did instead was I moved away from the pole work and I just was asking her to canter calmly. So I wanted to trot calmly and canter calmly, which you can see didn't really work. But it's okay. Again, it was clear that I didn't need a whip with her this time. So it's all voice commands, and it's a good way to get them listening. So if you ever have a problem with your horse not really doing what you're asking them to do, then definitely just switch up the exercise a little bit. Go back to something even more basic than what you're doing. She's always been an unpredictable horse, and I've definitely had my work cut out this year. But she's doing well and she's trying really hard. But she always had that kind of explosiveness about her that you'd never know. Is she going to buck? Is she going to gallop off? Is she going to pay attention? But she does try really hard most of the time. You can see her turning's not great, and then she nearly runs into Donkey, but she stopped herself, so that's all that matters. Right, the next time, again, I wanted her to do it again, but better. So the poles are flat on the ground, there is no jump. It's a little bit less windy that day, but still quite miserable weather. And first I always want to do it in trot, because I know that she can get worked up in canter, and you can see she trotted it perfectly. I also try and keep the rope as loose as possible. She knows where she needs to go. See, she did brilliantly. Nice and calm. Her head's quite high, meaning that she is a little bit tense. But she's listening to me, and that's all I can ask. The reason I got her to do it 2 times in a row was so that she doesn't just learn to go over a jump or a pole and then stop as soon as it's done. So this time again, give her a little break, tell her well done. And then I want her to do it in canter. You see she picks up nicely, she nearly drags me a little bit. I don't think she realised I wanted to go over the pole in canter, so she was going around it. But all of that's forgivable, because it's up to me to guide her where I want her to go. So you see I did my best to pull her as gently as I could round, and she did it perfectly. Nice canter, nice little jump. Always give them praise when they do what you ask them to do. It's easy to just quickly say, good girl, and move on. But just be mindful of when they are trying really hard and to reassure that, because that's what you want from them. It's not necessarily about them doing it right all the time, but it's about them trying to do it right all the time. You see she's a lot more relaxed already. She's happy to keep going even though it's a bit windy. She breaks nicely into canter. She starts to speed up, and I think she lacks confidence in her ability to jump in canter, so sometimes it will switch into a bit of a gallop. But even that's okay for now, because she is trying really hard to do what I'm asking her to do. She's not running off with me. We just take our time. See, she's very distracted by something else. So if she is so distracted, then I'll do small circles with her, because she's just rushing. Like that. She was totally wonky. But then I didn't want to pull her back because she had already made up her mind, and the risk if I pulled her back would be that actually I'm encouraging her to avoid the jump. So it's tricky to find the balance actually. You say, okay, let her do what she needs to do, ask her to do it in trot, and she did it in trot. She rushed it, and you can see, again, she's quite tense, and she's not happy. I'm having to use the whip to guide her which direction I want her in. But again, go back in canter, she speeds up, and she loses a little bit. But she did it, and we say, okay, that's alright, well done. She's pulling her head that way because she wants to go back to the shelter and have time off. No, and that's that she's just distracted now. It's hard when the weather's not great with her because she does really get distracted, and that entire week I was having problems with her paying attention and spooking and just being really unpredictable. So I'm not sure what was going on, what was in the air. But anyway, see, that's more of the gallop and the jump. One of her bad habits is spinning around and stopping as well, but that'll be a challenge for another day. So far it's just that I want her to go over it calmly. Like that, I don't want there to ever be that pressure. Right, now the next time we are working on it again. You can see she's trotting nicely, cantering nicely, no stress. She's quite happy to go over things. Her head's a little bit lower. So already just 3 sessions and she's doing what I'm asking. That was a bit clumsy of her because she wasn't paying attention again. But she did it. And that's what you want. You don't want them to start refusing. You'll see later on that's what she does. But that's why we start with poles. Because I want her to get that confidence up. And you can see she is treating it like a jump. She's not just stepping over it. So, because she did the 2 two sides well. I was like, okay, let's put the jump up and let's give it a go. And I think it's quite good for her to be with me when I'm putting the jump up, because she can see what's going on, she can see that it's changing, I'm not just suddenly surprising her with it. Again, not that she's really paying much attention. So this time I'm grabbing the whip because I know she'll need the encouragement now. She is not a confident jumper on demand. She's an incredible jumper, but if you ask her to do it, she just acts as though it's impossible. So I tried starting trot, keep it calm and not scary. As you can see, she just avoids it, and I don't want to make a big issue out of it. I just want to say, okay, yeah, we'll compromise on that. And then she goes into canter, but you can see straight away she's like, no, not having it, no. It's terribly high, can't even cross it and walk. But now you can see I gave her praise, mostly because she didn't react horrifically, and then I tried to walk with her. And you see what's interesting is that she picked up a foot as though she could cross it, but then it's almost like it was just too high, which is ridiculous. As you can see, it's not a big jump at all. We say, okay, so it is a mental barrier, and that's what we're working with. That's why she's reacting so much. But the only way to build up her confidence is to keep doing it and keep practicing bit by bit. But I do make sure never to overwhelm her, so these sessions are never really longer than 15 minutes. So I ask her to go, and then she goes into that gallop, but she jumps it, which is huge. It's brilliant. Because rather than going in that slow trot and then just refusing, she just decided to go for it. So then we decided to switch sides, and she spooks. That was the temperament that I was dealing with that week. Honestly, wasn't expecting it because we were just walking. Took me a while to sort myself out with the rope and everything. But we say, okay. So we already know she's spooky, we already know she's distracted. Although she's done it really well on the other rein, you can see she's already decided it's not happening this way. But we keep trying. Now on this rein, she has a much more powerful canter, which is quite hard to control. So that was me trying to change the direction because she wanted to cut corners, but then I could see she's getting stressed out, so I dropped the whip, calm her down a little bit. I listen out for her breathing because that also indicates to me how stressed out she is, or is she just being naughty. So what I was doing there is just making sure that she's not afraid of the whip, right? Because the whip isn't there to scare her to move forward, it's to encourage her. And she knows that, but I just wanted to make sure that she knows it's calm. So this time I'm just taking the jump out of the equation a little bit. And then I ask her, but again, she's already decided, no, it's not, I'm not having it. And it's difficult because she is a very strong horse. And she also can get really, really wound up. So again, I've just moved away, saying, okay, let's bring it down a notch. Let's calm down without feeling the need to rush at everything or pull me around or whatever. You see, she always is trying to jog, and what I'm asking for is just a nice, pleasant walk. So I'm saying that I do want her to jump again, and this was really promising because she went up close to hit on her own hookboard. So this time I'm like, okay, let's try again in a calm way. But again, she's decided long before that she's not going to do it. So what I did here, I just took down one side. So it's more like a raised pole now rather than a jump. And then straight away, she goes for it. that's where I left it, that session, because I didn't want to stress her out. Hopefully you got some good tips from this. See she enjoyed herself afterwards. And thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.